Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you some subclass mods that will be coming to console in Baldur's Gate 3. There's some very fun ones here like the Circle of Wildfire Druid as well as Cosmic Sorcery. We'll get into these things here first with the Wildfire Druid because this one is very interesting. So this mod was made by Sif the Revenant. It's been put forward for console approval. We're just waiting on that there, but it looks like it could potentially make its way here because I don't see any red flags with this one. And I've predicted a bunch of other mods that already came, so I'm feeling good about this one. What's cool about the Circle of Wildfire Druid is you get different summons that are similar to the other summons that the Druid gets, which I'll show off in this video. And you also get the Summon Primal Spirit here, so you can use this wild shape charge to Bound your soul appears as a fiery aura that deals damage to nearby enemies unless it succeeded dexterity saving throw. You also get all the different wild shape forms, but they're a wildfire version of them. So the wildfire wild shapes are pretty cool. I'll show those off as well. They have some different appearances. And yeah, this class is a lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of the Druid, because you get some fire spells as well. So like Flaming Sphere and Scorch and Ray, which are two pretty solid ones to get. The big focus though is obviously your wild shape and your summon that you get. So you can see here we get the Wildfire Deep Rothe, and you also get the regular ones there too, but you're obviously going to want to use the fire versions of these because they are pretty cool. So I'll show off, I guess, here what the fire spirit looks like, and then I'll show you the rest of the class overview. So you can summon in a primal humanoid, a primal bear, raven, or wolf, and with this I'll show you what it looks like. It's kind of like a wood woad, but burning. And with this, it also has Flame Seed here for its attack. It'll push targets away, as you can see there, if they move too close to it. It also has the Concussive Smash, which can daze, which is great for setting up Hold Person. It's got a main hand attack, and it's got its Twisting Branch. So not super strong, but it's a bit of fire damage. Great if you're a Barrelmancer. That's what the Fire Spirit there looks like, as you can see. Pretty fancy. And some of the other forms too, they also have their own appearances here. So you can see like the Fiery Wolf and the Fiery Raven. So yeah, they come with unique appearances, but I'll show you, I guess, what this also looks like in terms of higher levels, because there's some pretty fun things that you get with the Wildfire Druid. You also get Plant Growth, which is pretty tricky because you'll light it on fire really easily. We also get ourselves Revivify, but the whole Wildfire Druid is about regrowth and burning, so burning plants and regrowing them. So it makes sense why you get this here, and it's based on a class from Dungeons and Dragons. We also get ourselves the Wildfire Panther, Owl Bear, and I'll show those off as well, because the wild shape charge forms are pretty cool. I love getting a summon though with the Druid. That's awesome. You also get Fire Shield and Warden of Vitality here for spells. And yeah, I guess the biggest focus of this is fire damage, which is not that great in Baldur's Gate 3, but there are ways to mitigate the fire resistances, such as taking a feat for it. You also get ourselves Flame Strike and Mass Cure Wounds. Flame Strike's an alright spell, not like crazy game changer, but definitely nice to have. And we also get ourselves the Fire Myrmidon form, which is cool because typically only the Moon Druid gets the ability to transform into them. They also get haste, so they can be pretty strong. Not brokenly overpowered, but it's strong. And then you get the classic level up abilities there, but what this ends up looking like, so we have our Fire Primal Spirit there, we get our Flame Strike, then we get our wild shapes. So like we got the Wildfire Panther, Dilophosaurus, Fire Myrmidon. Some of them just look like the normal appearances, whereas some of them got like the flaming appearance. So as we see, Owlbear just looks quite normal here. So that's that. But if we go into a Wildfire Panther, it has a bit of a different appearance. So we'll refresh our abilities there, go into the Panther form, and this one's going to look a little different. So you can see here, it's got the fire on it. I think that this one's really cool. So its legs are crossed all weird. I don't know why. That might be another mod that's interacting with it, but its movement speed looks normal. Hey, there we go. Back to kind of normal. But yeah, Wildfire Druid, a whole lot of fun, and I think that this mod will potentially come soon to console. Next, I'll be showing off the Crypt Stalker Ranger, which is a very fun one, giving you a pet, but this pet is something like a Death Shepherd. So great for those that like Necromancer style builds, because you get a summon that is one. So you can see here we got ourselves the Ranger's Companion, and it's like a zombie fist here. So I'll show that off. You also get Speak with the Dead and Darkness for spells. What's fun about this mod, also this mod is made by Hungry Hippo 3460. What's fun about this mod though is being able to run around with your own zombies without having to use corpses to be able to summon them in. So I'll show this one off as well. You also get the Companion's Bond, so it does treat the it does treat the summons kind of like the other Rangers companions from the Beastmaster. You also get one with the Shadows, vanish into the darkness and become invisible as long as you stand still. And you get Control Undead. The Undead will follow you around and attack your enemies. This is a fun spell because you can use it on some unexpected enemies to be able to control them. So, pretty fun. We're basically the Warden of Death here. Crypt Stalker. It's a cool class. I'll show you again what this looks like whenever I get to showing off the summon, because the summon can actually be pretty strong. You get Dark Vision at level 7, Unholy Command, so your companion can dash, disengage, and help as a bonus action. And they get an extra attack here at level 7, so they get a little bit stronger, which is nice, giving your companion even further benefits. Classic Ranger being able to move over difficult terrain more freely. And well, the Ranger is a half caster. They do get some fun spells, but I think the funnest ones here are the Turning Invisible, which pairs well with the Ranger for kind of like a stealth archer build, but also having a zombie tank kind of character to be able to pull aggro for you. Attacks make with your weapon deal additional necrotic damage equal to your wisdom modifier, so you can get like a +5 or +6 at best on your extra attacks. And you can summon an undead dragon to help you in battle, which is pretty cool. This is our level 11 feature, so it's pretty strong, but I'll show off what this looks like here. So we got our Ranger companion with the options of a Death Shepherd, a Mummy, a Dark Justiciar, Flying Ghoul, or a Wraith. So the Death Shepherd is my personal favorite. They get that extra attack. The Death Shepherd looks really cool. It's tall. It's got that fancy armor on. And yeah, you can control them by moving them around if you want to. I think this is a really fun ability. No Rest for the Wicked. Death is so you can raise Unfallen Dead with all of its hit points using a bonus action with No Rest for the Wicked. The Death Shepherds are quite strong, as you probably have seen before. This pairs well with a Necromancer style build, so if you get the Dread Overlord on your side, this can be a cool one to pair with it. So this is great for people that like playing Rangers and want something a little bit better. Then we also get the Undead Dragon here, which has a difficult time summoning in because of the size that it is. But you can see there, it's it doesn't move around much. You got these slam attacks, slam the ground, knocking targets prone, upwards of 54 damage, multi-attack up to 92, instill fear in foes around you. You get a lightning breath, gather power, take flight, land, and begin to gather power. So yeah, you get this undead dragon, which is extremely strong. It doesn't really move around naturally, but look at that. That's pretty fun to have on your side. So you can get a Death Shepherd and a large dragon. So that's what makes this build so fun, because you get both of these here to help tank and draw aggro while you shoot away with your arrows. So this is a cool one. Next, I'll be showing off the Cosmic Sorcerer. Next, I'll be showing off the Cosmic Sorcerer, which comes with powers from the astral plane here. So this gives us the Cosmic Ray doing fire and force damage on its beams, and then also the Witness Infinity doing 2d10 psychic damage. Force a target to witness the infinite well of potential timelines. We also get the Spatial Rend here doing force and slashing damage. Fly your way through space, teleport to an enemy will list, dealing damage. And we get a subclass features. Your blood is deeply connected to the astral plane. Your abilities are unmatched. This is a fun one. I think the Sorcerer is a very enjoyable class to play as, and you get some cool effects here with the Cosmic Sorcery. So you get yourself Create or Destroy Water, which can set up your cone. Like if you get Frost Fingers here at level 1, this can be extremely powerful. And then you can quicken spells, delivering double damage on your spells, which is absolutely huge. We also get ourselves Misty Step at level 3, which is a huge spell to get because Misty Step can work great on any build, so it's always nice to have that on a Sorcerer. At level 4, we get ourselves the Gaseous Form with a bit of a different color, and that's an okay spell, not like fanatical about it, but it's good that it's there. At level 5, we get ourselves the Intensify Gravity doing 3d8 of force damage, and this will slow the target, knock them prone. And we also get Absorb, which can drain the life force of a target within melee range for 3d6 necrotic and heal you as well. So as you can see, some pretty cool effects and spells that are unique to the Cosmic Sorcerer. At level 6, we get the Bubble, protect yourself or an ally within a magical bubble, which can absorb 5 attacks. That becomes pretty overpowered pretty quickly. So just another way that this Sorcerer is very strong, but fun to play. Now at level 7, we get ourselves a number of different ones. We get the Comet, which does force damage and fire damage split. Summon a miniature comet to hurl at your enemies. You get Solar Flare, which summons a solar flare to scorch anyone in the way and burns targets for 5 turns. We get Accelerate, slow you and your allies' perception time, allowing you to move and react faster than normal for 4 turns. And Polymorph, transform a creature into a harmless sheep. obviously pretty strong. The amount of spells that you get here is crazy. You also get the banish spell at level 8, which is not my like favorite spell, but is a decent one to get. We also get ourselves the ability to fly at level 9, and we get telekinesis to further mess around with the enemies, so that's a cool one to grab. Level 10, we get our cantrip warp, so we can bonus action warp upwards of 50 meters, which is huge. Doesn't use a spell slot, and make all enemies within 20 meters become vulnerable to force damage, which will really do a lot of damage because there's some pretty crazy spells, especially if you're able to get the Steel Wind Strike from Mistress Spells. Steel Wind Strike can deal a ton of force damage, which will literally just one-shot everyone, so takes the fun out of the game in certain ways. At level 11, we get Black Holes, so you can pull enemies together and slow them for a turn. We also get the Time Stop, cause all living creatures within 8 meters to become frozen in time for 10 turns. Crazy. Omniscience, grant yourself Omniscience for 10 turns. You're granted the knowledge of the god just for a moment. And then Globe of Invulnerability, one of the best spells at level 6. So you can see lots of crazy effects here. And then at level 12, we get the Meteor Shower, doing 25d6 fire and force, summon 5 meteor comets. And then you also get the Eviscerate, 50d10 plus 300 force damage, which is obviously going to one-shot pretty much anything in this game. So yes, this class is a bit overpowered, but it's still fun nonetheless. So I'll show off what some of these spells look like in terms of their effects. They got pretty similar to base game appearances. The fireballs are huge. The solar flare hits in a nice straight line there. The comet's really large too, and it hits for the fire and force damage. You can bubble your teammates to protect them for 5 attacks, which is really nice. And you can preset that before turns start. You have the Witness Infinity, which does psychic damage, which is very strong. And Eviscerate obviously being extremely powerful. Omniscience here, so we apply this to ourselves, and with this, you're currently aware of all things. So this looks like... So basically what this does, it gives you advantage on attacks and saving throws, and disadvantage to attackers, and deals a bit of extra damage on all your attacks. Plus it looks cool like this, so your character looks like they hit the rave in Cyberpunk. So yeah, this is a fun one. Really buffs you up. It's a concentration, however, so just be mindful of that, but you're currently aware of all things with this. And then you can freeze targets in time. I'm not going to pop that because it will aggro scratch, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the Cosmic Sorcerer is great. It also has level 20 support. I won't go over everything in this at this time because I'll be doing a build guide on it in the future, so you can stay tuned for that. But next we got ourselves... And next I'll be showing off this Shadow Domain Cleric. This is a fun one. There's many different builds. Scorch Domain, Shadow Domain, Order, Forge, Twilight, Gust. The Twilight just made its way to console, but the Shadow Domain is pretty fancy. The subclass feature makes your weapons deal additional necrotic damage while lightly or heavily obscured. This feels like it's a pretty good class for Shadowheart. It even has her name built into it. We got Hex and Disguise Self there as our Cleric spells. What's fun about this is I think the Cleric's an interesting class because it is strong at base, but going with some of these other options like the Shadow Domain I think works really well for it. So we get our Turn Undead obviously at this level. We also get the Shadow Bolt, which uses Channel Divinity. Fire a bolt of dark energy, possibly blinding the target. It's 2d8 of necrotic damage. And we can also see through any type of magical darkness and cannot be blinded. So we become pretty strong at this point because darkness can be your best friend. If you can hide it and have enemies that can't see through it, you're pretty much invincible. So yeah, you get darkness at level 3 and invisibility. So as you can tell, Shadow Cleric is all about the stealth. So yeah, you get a lot of different stealthy effects here. And basically the Cleric is one of the best classes in the game because of things like Planar Ally, the ability to heal, good armor class, and many others. But having these different subclasses with cool effects, like this one gives us Hunger of Hadar. It's a tough one because Hunger of Hadar competes with your concentration with Spirit Guardians. Both of these are great. You also get yourself Vampiric Touch too as a spell, so a lot of fun ones here. Level 6, we get ourselves the Unseen Strike. Strike quickly from the shadows using a reaction, and the caster must be obscured, so if you hide in darkness, you can attack with it. This is huge. Greater Invisibility can turn a creature invisible, and Blight gives yourself some necrotic damage furthermore to the other spells that we get. And this weapon, the Umbral Assault Improved, gives you additional 4 to 11 necrotic damage while lightly or heavily obscured. And necrotic spells and attacks deal additional damage equal to your wisdom modifier and ignore resistance. This is where we get a huge power spike where we can start dealing a lot of damage to people without having our damage types resisted, which is awesome. So at level 9, we get ourselves this Destructive Wave, one of my favorite Cleric spells, and Cloud Kill. So that's great if you have like a Necromancer or anything like the Dread Overlord Warlock, which will cause your zombies to not get hit by the poison damage, which is awesome. And at level 11, you get yourself the powerful planar ally. Now, what this looks like, you got some pretty cool effects. So the Shadow Bolt will scale up pretty good. So you can see there 10d8 of necrotic damage. That hits hard. You can see there it blasted your hair for 51, and it gave her blindness. So for Channel Divinity, that scales really well, and it ignores any necrotic damage resistances for their making it strong. So I think this is a very fun one. So the Shadow Domain Cleric, ton of fun. Let me know what your favorite subclass mod to hopefully come to console is. I may do another video on this after I do some research, so let me know your thoughts. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.